everybody. Thanks for being flexible with me today. I'm here on the weekly calendar on Wednesday. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of everything that I need you to do today while I'm out with the kids. So, I'm going to take you through our new unit, which we're going to be creating and publishing our own children's books. I'm super excited about it. I've done this project before, and it's usually pretty well liked by students. So, hopefully, you feel the same. First thing I'm going to have you click on is the project overview. It's going to take you to a link just to a Google Doc that's going to overview everything that we're going to be doing within this unit. Obviously, the end project itself, the book that we're creating, is going to be your summative assessment, the project grade. But there's going to be a lot of things as far as reading children's books, reading about how to design them, from illustrating them to writing them. There's going to be a lot of planning involved. And no need to worry if you're not an artistic person, there's ways around making your book look good without being an artist, because I am certainly not. However, if you are an artsy person, this could probably combine two of the best worlds for you, illustrating a book and writing a book at the same time. So, this overview includes the fact that you're going to research. You're going to read a lot of children's books to kind of get yourself out there and see what they're all about. Obviously, they're easy to read and comprehend because we're not children anymore, but there's a lot to learn about the concepts and the trends that go into each of the books. You're going to analyze some of them, draw conclusions based on what we're reading, and have discussions with one another. A big part of doing this project is going to be planning out your ideas over and over in a few different ways, because we'll be publishing in a hardcover book. Those of you guys that are online, you probably picked up the white hardcover book earlier in the semester. And those of you that are in class, I'll be giving you one of those in the next few weeks. We'll be obviously publishing once we have everything planned out. And the end result of all of this is going to be us making a recording so that students in grades K through 2 at Northwestern and Weisenberg can access your books with their families in their free time along with their class. And some of the classes have went so far as to volunteer to Zoom with us so that you guys have an opportunity to read your books to a live audience and get their reaction. So hopefully with all these components, it is a good unit. I'm hoping to wrap this unit up right before the end of the third marking period. So you should have at least 3 project-based assessments along with a few smaller quiz grades and obviously a lot of classwork and homework to go along with it. The next item, you could continue to look at that if you need to. We'll constantly be referencing it. Today I'm going to ask that you access a bunch of different websites. So we're going to start researching and looking at children's books, and there is a list, this top books list, and these are all web-based lists that you can access. I'm going to ask that you click on this and kind of scroll through a bunch of the links looking for books that may catch your interest that you may want to see are available in our Overdrive and Sora library. So you have 3 different hyperlinks here to look at. All of these hyperlinks contain books that appear on award-winning lists. Please make sure that you're looking at books that are meant for early readers. Kindergarten or earlier is fine, through 2nd grade. The further you get into longer word-based books, chapter books, small chapter books, you're going to get up into grades 3, 4, and 5. That's where kids really start to develop their language and kind of reach out and start reading for an understanding of what's happening on their own. Then we're going to access Overdrive and Sora to actually look for these books, able to look through the books and see what they look like. So first thing you'll do today is kind of access these 3 items, read some of the titles, see if anything that you've read or you remember from your childhood maybe piques your interest. My kids are actually reading a book right now with their dad, and they love, for the past 5 nights, they've read I Love You, Stinky Face. I don't know if any of you guys have read that when you were younger, but it's one of Trent's favorites. So the next thing you're going to do is have to go to Overdrive or Sora. I did link it right here. Hopefully it takes you to the correct link, but if it doesn't, another way to access it is going to the high school website, going to read up at the top, scroll down to Overdrive, and you should be able to get to the same link. You're going to select your school here. It's just our school district. And then your username is going to be your student ID number. And your password's going to be your Google password, which we all tested yesterday if you were in class. So we should be good to go on that. They fixed mine and fixed Dakota's, so I think we should be all right. Once you log in, the best way to go about this is if you found some titles using the top books list, you could certainly search for the book up here. I'll see if they have. I Love You, Stinky Face, which they don't, of course. Dang it. All right, so the other thing that you can do is obviously search for your title, see if they have them, or you could type in something like children's books. Okay, when you type in children's books, you're going to get access to obviously a lot of different types of books. These books up top, they look to have, not necessarily super colorful covers. I'm thinking that something like the books of the beginning looks like something that would be for a little bit of an older audience, considering it's a series book. So if I click on it, it'll give me some information. Down here, first thing you want to look at are the levels. So the interest level would be around 4 to 8, and the text difficulty is around 2nd to 3rd grade. So I would tend to kind of stray away from this book because it's a little bit above what I'm looking for as far as our K through 2 age group. Okay, so you could scroll. There's so much stuff to go through. Here's one that you might know, The Very Hungry Caterpillar. That's a pretty popular book for a lot of young kids. I came across this one, The Day Crayons Quit. I found it to be really interesting because my kids are also obsessed with coloring right now, so crayons were like the perfect thing to take a look at. So I clicked on this, and I actually borrowed the book, so it is downloading, but it was a K through 2 book. So what I'm going to have you do is take a look at these books, see what you come across, and in the meantime, you'll be filling in today. The assignment for today itself is complete my book notes. When you click on that, it's going to open in a Google Drive table. Pretty self-explanatory. You're going to find 6 books today that kind of pique your interest. So those books can be on Overdrive using Sora. If you can find them on another website that you have access to, you certainly can. And obviously, if you have younger siblings or books that you've saved or your parents have saved that you want to use that are in your house, you could certainly use physical copies of books. So what I want you to do is simply go through and write down the title, the author, the illustrator, where you got it. So obviously, if you're getting them all from the internet or all from Sora or Overdrive, you could just copy and paste that into that piece right there. And then your reason for choosing, I'm looking for something like the cover looked interesting, the topic was interesting, the title grabbed me, just a reason that you were drawn in. From here, what we're going to do is take these 6 books that you were looking at, and tomorrow we're going to dive a little deeper with some of them. We're going to start reading through them. We're actually going to borrow the book from Overdrive or Sora, or if you have the physical copy, then obviously you will be able to use that physical copy. For those of you guys that are in class, I'll start to bring in a few books since we have so many of them here. And I do have a few in the classroom. Looks like this downloaded, but it's not completely opening here. So what you could do is if you decide to borrow one for today or take a look closer than what the preview is asking you to do. Oh, here we go. All right. So this is The Day the Crayons Quit, and I was kind of going through it here and there, but these are some of the pages, the way that it's laid out. And when you click on it, it turns the pages for you, and it's written in a really interesting way. All the text is written like a note on a piece of paper, and it's almost like someone took pictures of these things and placed them on a book page. So it's super cool. Um, that's why I was drawn to it. It's way different than any of the books that I've really seen lately. So you're going to look at the top books list. You're going to open Sora and start to look for some things that pique your interest. And in the meantime, you're going to fill in the books list 1 through 6 and hit the submit button for today. When you finish, you have one more helpful sites you'll love to access. And this is the beginning of us just kind of using some websites to familiarize ourselves with what all goes into creating a children's book. So, from the construction of the book to the illustration to publication terms, you're going to be able to access all of these websites, which are not blocked on the school computers, which I just checked yesterday, so we should be good. A lot of them are set up in different ways. Some are blogs, some are internet pages that people have just kind of put together as facts and parts of their own publishing experience, but all of them are going to give us different pieces of information. So I'm not assigning that you read any specific ones right now, but if you just want to start to click around, skim over some things, see what draws your attention. Tomorrow we're going to dive a little bit deeper into some of the links that we'll end up talking about in a discussion. Okay, so if you go through Canvas here and just click on all of the links in order, you should be okay. Just remember the complete my book notes is the actual assignment part for today. That's what I'll be looking at later on this evening. And then Thursday we'll come back around and have a discussion. It looks like Thursday I'm going to be out as well, but I should be Zooming in live with you guys at least for half of the class. So look for an email from me later this evening and I'll let you know how class is going to go for Thursday. Like I said, I really appreciate your flexibility. Reach out to me via email today. I have it open all day. I'd be glad to get back to you guys if you need anything.